know this is our star point that points out, and this is our point that points down, and we want to match these seams. So this is what our diamond will look like. This will be the center star. If you change your mind and you want to flip them, this would be your outside star, and this will be your inside star. So you can still change your mind now if you want to, but we're going to stick with our plan and put the blue on the outside and the red on the inside. So that's how we want them to go. And next we're going to mark these. We know that this is how we want them to go, so let's stack the others the same exact way so we won't get confused. So all the reds are pointing down and the blues are pointing up. The next thing we're going to do is mark. We're going to first sew these two together, and we need to match these seams here. Let's move these temporarily out of the way. We need to match these two seams, and we'll flip this over and lay them out like this. So we're going to mark this seam intersection and this seam intersection. So here's what we're going to mark. So let's flip it down this way. This is the edge we want to mark. I'm going to take the ruler. I'm looking at my 1/4 inch marking here, and I'm going to place that along the edge of the fabric. So I'm matching that up. This is the seam. This is where the seam comes down. You can't see it because I used white thread, and I'm going to mark that intersection right there. And since this is on white thread, I'm going to use my dark marker. And I'm just going to place a line like that. And this is where this intersects with the seam. There's where the stitching is. So this is the inside of the seam, and we're going to place all of these the same direction so we know we're marking the correct one. So we'll take this down, mark it, place your mark along the seam line, and stack it. Mark and stack. Now all of these inside ones are marked, and let's flip them over so we can still make sure we're marking the right thing. So we'll take the right hand side, and we need to mark this one, and we'll mark these the same way. Put this here, make sure we're marking them correctly. Now let's check them again and make sure the sides are marked that we want to have marked. So the markings are right where they need to be. And we still have some more marking to do on these. We need to mark this outer point here and here on these background fabrics. So we'll take this, flip it down. This is the outer one we're marking. You'll take the 1/4 inch guide on your ruler and place it on the edge of the fabric, and then place a little mark like that. Then go on this side, place the 1/4 inch on the edge of your fabric, and then mark the intersection of those two lines. So right where those intersect, that's your point. Now all of the red ones are marked. They've been marked on this edge here, and we need to mark the blue ones on this edge here, and we're going to mark those the same way. And continue marking the rest of these. Now all of our markings are done. We marked the inside lines here and here, and we marked the outer points here and here, and these are finished, so that we'll put those off to the side. The next thing we need to mark are our squares and triangles. And for the squares and the triangles, we're going to mark the wrong side. So let's make sure we have the wrong side here. Flip these over. The triangles, we're going to mark this point here. This is going to be the outside edge. This is the point we need to mark. If you're using just the ruler, you mark the same way. You line up the 1/4 inch line along the edge of the fabric and mark a little line. And then the other side and mark a little line. And there you have your center point right there. There's your center point. Let me show you one more time. Line up this 45-degree marking on the ruler with the edge of the fabric and mark a little line. Then do the same thing on this side. Okay, and do that for all 4 of these triangles. For the squares, we're just going to mark one point on the wrong side of the fabric, so it doesn't matter which point it is. Line up the 1/4 inch, and then line up the 1/4 inch, and there's your point. And do that for all 4 of the triangles. Now all of our marking is complete. We have our 4 squares marked in one corner, and we have our 4 triangles marked in the lower corner, and we have our star points marked on the seam lines and on the outer edge. And now we're ready to piece.